Mount Etna, Europe's largest and most active volcano, has gone quiet. After an extremely active year that sent volcanic ash over 21,000 feet into the sky and triggered red aviation alerts, the mountain has suddenly entered a phase of reduced activity. Just variable degassing, occasional weak ash emissions, nothing dramatic. And over 1 million people are living on its slopes and in the cities below, waiting to see what happens next. Because research shows that volcanic quiet doesn't always mean safety. Sometimes silence comes before the eruption. Here's what's happening right now on Mount Etna. Almost nothing. And that's what has people paying attention. According to Italy's National Institute of Geophysics and Volcanology, INGV, the official monitoring bulletin dated December 2, 2025, describes the volcano's current state as variable degassing, with occasional weak ash emissions from the summit craters. That's technical language for a volcano that's essentially idling. The dramatic eruptions that characterized most of 2025 have stopped. The lava fountains have ceased. The explosive activity has quieted. The mountain is still active. It's still releasing gas, still occasionally spitting small amounts of ash. But compared to what it was doing just months ago, Etna has effectively gone silent. The alert level remains at yellow, level 2 on a 5-level scale, indicating moderate vigilance but no immediate emergency. No evacuations have been ordered. No emergency measures are in effect. Catania's airport is operating normally. Tourist access to the mountain continues with standard safety protocols. On paper, everything looks stable. But here's the context that changes everything. Just 6 months ago, on June 2, 2025, Mount Etna unleashed one of its most spectacular eruptions of the year. A volcanic cloud shot to an estimated height of 6,500 meters. That's over 21,000 feet, triggering a red aviation alert across southern Italy. A pyroclastic flow occurred when material collapsed from the northern flank of the southeast crater. Tourists on the mountain fled as ash poured from the crater. Videos showed people running, trying to escape the billowing darkness descending from above. That eruption made international headlines. Airlines rerouted flights. Officials issued urgent warnings. And then gradually, the activity decreased. By late summer, lava flows had slowed. By fall, explosive events became rare. And now, in early December, the volcano has entered this unusually quiet phase. The question everyone is asking, what does the silence mean? Volcanologists have a complicated relationship with volcanic silence, because while quiet activity often means a volcano is simply resting between eruptions, research has shown that in some cases, seismic quiet can be a warning sign. A 2016 study from the Carnegie Institution for Science found that at certain volcanoes, periods of seismic quiet occur immediately before eruptions. The research suggested that longer quiet periods can sometimes correlate with larger subsequent eruptions. The mechanism is straightforward. When a volcano goes quiet, it might mean pressure is building beneath a sealed system, accumulating, consolidating, preparing for a release that could be more violent than previous events. That's the theory, but what does the actual monitoring data from Mount Etna show right now? According to the December 2025 INGV Bulletin, volcanic tremor, the continuous seismic vibration caused by magma movement, has remained at medium levels throughout November with no significant variations. Tremor sources are localized in the northeast crater area at elevations between 2,000 and 3,000 meters, which is consistent with normal background activity. Ground deformation monitoring, which uses GPS sensors to detect even millimeter-scale swelling or subsidence of the volcano, shows no significant variations. The mountain isn't inflating. It's not swelling with rising magma. The shape of the volcano remains stable. Seismic activity recorded 9 earthquakes of magnitude 2.0 or greater during November. The strongest events, magnitude 2.5 to 2.6b, occurred in the Padara-Mascalucia area on November 17th and were felt by local residents but caused no damage. That's relatively low seismicity for a volcano as active as Etna. Thermal satellite observations showed generally low thermal activity in the summit area, with only occasional isolated moderate anomalies. The maximum thermal flux recorded was 12 megawatts on November 30th, a far cry from the intense thermal signatures detected during active lava fountaining earlier in the year. Gas emissions tell a similar story. Sulfur dioxide flux remains at medium-high levels, which is normal for Etna's degassing. But there's no spike that would indicate fresh magma rapidly ascending from depth. By every measurable metric, Mount Etna is not showing signs of imminent eruption. But scientists are also quick to add, that can change. Without warning, at any time. Over 1,068,000 people live in the metropolitan city of Catania province. The city of Catania itself, Sicily's second-largest urban center, sits approximately 30 kilometers from Etna's summit. That's less than 20 miles. On a clear day, residents can see the mountain from their windows. When the volcano erupts, they hear it. When ash falls, it coats their cars, their streets, their rooftops. More than 20% of Sicily's population lives on or near Mount Etna. Not because they're unaware of the danger, not because they have no other options, but because Etna's volcanic soil is among the most fertile in the Mediterranean. The same geological forces that create explosive eruptions also create rich, mineral-laden earth that supports vineyards, olive groves, citrus orchards, and vegetable farms that have sustained communities for thousands of years. Towns and villages extend up the lower slopes of the volcano. Families have lived in the same houses for generations. Children grow up watching the summit glow red at night during active phases. It's not ignorance that keeps people here. It's a calculated acceptance of risk balanced against the benefits of living on one of Earth's most geologically dynamic landscapes. And that calculation depends entirely on Etna behaving predictably. The volcano's typical behavior involves slow-moving basaltic lava flows that give people time to evacuate. Explosive events are usually confined to the summit area, miles from populated zones. Ashfall is inconvenient, but rarely dangerous. The volcano has a rhythm, active phases followed by quiet phases, eruptions that start with clear warning signs, lava that flows downhill away from most communities. But when the volcano changes its pattern, that calculation breaks down. And right now, after an intensely active year, the mountain has gone uncharacteristically quiet, and no one knows what that silence means. Here's what the experts are saying, and more importantly, what they're not saying. INGV's official monitoring bulletins emphasize that current volcanic phenomena at Etna can occur without warning or evolve unexpectedly. That's not alarmist language. That's honest scientific assessment. Even with one of the most sophisticated monitoring networks in the world, volcanoes retain the capacity to surprise. The December 2025 bulletin explicitly states that expected activity in the coming weeks includes continued degassing, occasional explosive activity, possible ash clouds, and pyroclastic flows in the summit area. But it adds a critical caveat. Evolution toward more energetic activity cannot be ruled out. Read that carefully. Cannot be ruled out is how scientists express uncertainty when they don't have enough data to make definitive predictions. It's not a warning that something will happen. It's an acknowledgement that something could happen. And current monitoring can't tell us which scenario will unfold. The alert level remains at yellow, moderate vigilance, not escalated to orange or red. That means authorities assess the current risk as manageable, not imminent. But it also means the hazard level is never zero. The volcano is being watched, and scientists are waiting to see what comes next. To understand why the current quiet phase matters, you need to understand just how active Mount Etna was throughout 2025. In February, an effusive eruption began with lava vents opening at 30-50 meters elevation. Lava flows progressed southward, eventually cutting across the Pista Altamontana trail on the western slope. The flows were continuous, sustained, and voluminous. By April, activity had intensified. Strombolian explosions evolved into pulsating lava fountains, reaching heights of 200 to 300 meters. That's over 600 to nearly 1,000 feet. From the southeast crater, the spectacle was visible from Catania. Tourists flocked to viewing areas to watch the mountain spew molten rock into the night sky. Then came June the 2nd, the pyroclastic flow, the 6,500-meter ash column, the red aviation alert. Videos of tourists fleeing. This wasn't gentle lava flow tourism. This was a genuine hazard event that required emergency response. In mid-August, new effusive activity began with lava flowing from a vent at approximately 3,100 meters. Activity gradually decreased through late August and September, tapering off until the current quiet phase began. That's the pattern: escalation, intensification, a major explosive event, then gradual decline into silence. And now, everyone is waiting to see if the cycle repeats or if something different happens this time. Mount Etna has caused 77 confirmed deaths directly attributable to volcanic activity throughout approximately 3,500 years of recorded history. That's a remarkably low number for Europe's most active volcano, and it's why communities have felt safe living on its slopes for millennia. But those deaths weren't evenly distributed. In 1843, 59 to 60 forest workers were killed near Bronte when a phreatic explosion occurred. Lava had flowed over a hidden water reservoir, creating superheated steam that exploded without warning. In 1979, 9 visitors at the Bocca Nuova crater were killed by an unexpected phreatomagmatic explosion when magma contacted groundwater. The pattern is clear. Etna is relatively predictable most of the time. Its basaltic lava moves slowly. Warning signs usually precede major eruptions. But the volcano retains the capacity for sudden, deadly events that give no advance warning. Mount Etna is one of the most extensively monitored volcanoes in the world. INGV Osservatorio Etneo in Catania operates a comprehensive surveillance network that includes 28 seismic stations, multiple GPS and GNSS ground deformation sensors, infrared and visible light cameras providing continuous feeds, gas flux monitoring networks measuring sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide emissions, and integration with satellite thermal imaging systems. This isn't casual observation. This is real-time, minute-by-minute monitoring with redundant systems and decades of baseline data for comparison. If the volcano shows signs of reawakening, if tremor increases, if the ground begins to deform, if gas emissions spike, if seismicity accelerates, scientists will detect it immediately. The current yellow alert level reflects this reality. It's not a declaration of safety. It's an acknowledgement that while the volcano is quiet, it remains active and capable of changing behavior. Sicily's Civil Protection Department maintains continuous coordination with INGV, ready to escalate response protocols if monitoring data changes. The infrastructure exists to provide warning. The systems are functioning. The question is whether the volcano will give enough warning before it does whatever it does next. The range of possible outcomes is wide, and scientists can't tell you which one will occur. Best case scenario: the quiet phase continues for weeks or months. The volcano remains in a degassing state with occasional minor ash emissions. Monitoring parameters stay stable. Eventually, activity gradually resumes with clear warning signs: increased tremor, ground deformation, seismic swarms, giving authorities time to adjust alert levels and implement safety measures if needed. This is the most likely scenario based on Etna's historical behavior. Middle scenario: activity returns to 2025 levels. Lava fountains resume. Effusive flows create new lava fields. Summit explosions generate ash clouds that disrupt aviation. It's dramatic, it's photogenic, but it's also manageable because it follows known patterns. Uncertain scenario: the volcano does something unexpected. The INGV Bulletin specifically states that evolution toward more energetic activity cannot be ruled out. That's scientific language for, we don't know what might happen if the system behaves differently than it has in the past. Volcanic systems are chaotic. They operate under immense pressure. Magma chemistry can change. Gas content can vary. Structural weaknesses can develop. And all of those variables can combine in ways that produce outcomes that don't match previous patterns. The honest answer is, we're watching, waiting, and uncertain. As of this recording, Mount Etna remains in its quiet phase. Variable degassing continues. Occasional weak ash emissions still occur. Monitoring parameters show no alarming trends. The alert level stays at yellow. Life in Catania and the surrounding communities continues normally, but the fundamental uncertainty hasn't changed. The INGV Bulletin repeats a critical warning with every monthly update. Volcanic phenomena at Etna can occur without warning or evolve unexpectedly. That's not a failure of monitoring. That's the nature of volcanic systems. They're complex, dynamic, and governed by processes that occur miles beneath the surface, where we can't directly observe them. Over 1 million people are living with this reality every day. They're not in denial. They're not ignoring the risk. They're making a calculated choice to accept the volcano's presence in exchange for the benefits it provides. The fertile soil, the tourism economy, the cultural identity tied to living on one of Earth's most magnificent geological features. The volcano will eventually break its silence. The question is when, how, and whether we'll see it coming. Mount Etna has gone quiet after its most active year in recent memory. Over 1 million people live in its shadow. Scientists are watching closely, but volcanic systems are unpredictable. The quiet could mean nothing. Or it could mean the volcano is building towards something we haven't seen yet. Stay informed.